Someone make it make sense.
Probably a couple.
Hello, everybody. All right. Earlier, before I had more lessons, we were talking about where these cameras are located, right? And how, okay. I realized something that is really important here. And I'm kind of pissed off right now, to be honest with you guys. Shout out to P Fox, shout out to Twiz. All right. So you'll see here, 116 cane brake to 122 cane brake. What are we looking at? So, you zoom in. Okay, well, actually, so first of all, one thing of note is that all of the cameras, okay, they didn't have any camera surveillance for. Okay, let me, my brain's working really fast. So here's the neighborhood, right? Cane brake neighborhood. So the road in is, you've got two options. You got South Batesville, right? And then you've got Saratoga. And then of course you can take any of these side roads over to get over to Dillard. So basically you've got like this loopy thing, right? There's no camera footage from South Batesville Road or Saratoga. And why does that matter? Because it's important, I would think, if you're the state, to prove how the suspect entered the neighborhood and how they left, right? So, shout out to IAS as well. So why does this matter? Because when it comes to the cameras that caught, the only cameras that caught the suspect, okay? They are all located. So here's the victim's house. They are all located in this direction of the house. There's the one across the street, but then the rest of them are down here. Remember, we mapped all this out yesterday or day before, something like that, right? There's that little cul-de-sac that we talked about. So there's like these houses, and then there's like this house and this house. That's it right here. So the distance from like here to here, those are the houses that they have with Ring doorbell and surveillance cameras, right? That caught the suspect on the bike leaving allegedly after leaving from the homicide, right? At 9:27 and 9:28. So 9:27 was here, 9:28 was here in the morning. There's nothing from down here. There's nothing from South Batesville. There's nothing from Saratoga. So one of the things that we had been thinking about is, well, how come they don't have any footage? I mean, they should have had footage from these other main roads, right, to prove the route. But how come they don't have any footage from before 122, right, this direction of the suspect on the bike? Because here's why this matters. Because if the suspect took this route both ways, like to get to the house, right, went this way and then left that way, we know that these cameras picked the suspect up leaving. So if they went this route on the way there, should have had it on camera, right? So one could make the assumption, well, maybe the suspect came this direction and somehow none of these houses have cameras, but like all these do. And so that it just didn't get caught on camera. And remember earlier today, I'll just reiterate for anyone who didn't see it, I thought to myself, well, hang on, didn't they have footage, okay, of the victim's car and Bradley Post's car from the opposite direction? And these are motion activated cameras, right? And then I was like, well, now I can't remember. I can't remember exactly what the address was. So right before I went live, I double checked. This is fucked. So the camera that catches the victim coming to her house, going to her, leaving the house. So all the cars, right? And also catches Bradley Post coming at 2:30. That camera is at 116, which is right here. So we know that this house right here has cameras that were working that morning that are motion activated and that picked up all the other cars coming this direction and going to the house. So why the hell then would it not have picked up the suspect on the bike or walking for that matter, or driving, anything? This is a problem because, so in other words, again, all of the cameras that catch the suspect only catch the suspect after allegedly the homicide, and they're all this direction. Yet there's a camera here in the opposite direction that has caught the vehicles. So that bothers me greatly. And again, never mind the fact that they didn't have anything. I don't even know that they checked. I mean, I remember they said they canvassed Canebrake, but why the fuck would you not also do Saratoga and Batesville? Because these are the roads to enter or leave the neighborhood. And regardless of which route, like you don't like whichever way they went, it had to be one or the other. You guys see why that, Matt? Like this is I wonder if the jury's going to pick up on this when they go back to deliberate, and if they can take a look at the maps. I don't know what type of maps they have because we couldn't see them, but this would bother me because why the heck is there not, like, and again, there either should be the suspect coming to the house caught on all those same cameras on the way there, right? There was like 5 of them. And if the suspect didn't go that way, then they should have been caught on this camera. Because we know this camera was working. We know it picked up all the vehicles. Yes, that is crazy. That's crazy. Like, what is going on? Right? What is going on? I mean, are we dealing with videos that were just disappearing, like, or inverted? I mean, honestly, in this case, like what? You know, it's not, and in this right here, it's not like they just they didn't ask the South. We know they could because they have this, right? But again, why did they not check Batesville and Saratoga as well? And not to mention, they've not even offered a theory of which route they think the suspect took, except for leaving, which is going down here. There's no other way to get to this road. There's not, you can't go from here. Like, you guys can't see my mouse. Like, you see what I mean? There's no side roads this way, horizontally, or vertically rather. It has to be one or the other for Saratoga and Batesville. And it has to be one or the other direction. It's only one way or the other way on Canebrake. That's it. So I'm pissed about that for sure. Okay, so another thing I noticed is, let me pull this up. All right, so here's the guardian ad litem. So we heard her testify before we got more information about the emails and the WhatsApps and all that, right? When I was doing the timestamps, I noticed something really important from her testimony, but we didn't know it was that important at the time because we heard her before we heard the rest. So check it out.
I waited to meet her until she came back.
So I think you touched on it, but by what method would you communicate with Mr. Mello?
Email only.
Okay. Was Eddie Mello ever eventually returned to the United States?
Yes, in April of 2021, the Hague Convention.
That first of all, that date matters because when we look at these lawsuits, right? And we're going to look at an article here in just a second too from Fitz News. Somehow it let me look at one more article, even though I thought I'd hit the paywall. Anyway, part of the question is, right, like, when was she doing her own that's a terrible pause. Hold on.
International.
Oh my God. When was she doing her own investigation into the allegations made by John Mello? Because we know she had to follow up on this. When he made those allegations about this, CP and all this stuff, right? CSAM, like, she had to look into those. And we talked about that when we watched her testimony, right? So she did a very thorough search and she found that she didn't, and I found that puzzling. I was like, if it was there, she would have found it, right? So then I was like, well, maybe it's a timing thing. Maybe when she was looking, it was before they were doing this stuff, or maybe it was after. So the timeline matters here. So she's saying, so April of 2021 is when Aida is returned to the US. Okay. So anything that happens with her would have had to have been after April of 2021, unless it was like way before. But if it was way before, she would have found it, right? Like if there was anything way before, she would have found it. So that's why I'm like, anything fishy must have happened after she went looking. But anyway, we're going to hear something else interesting about these emails.
Body that helps enforce different custody rulings ordered that Aida return to South Carolina, and then the mother was awarded custody here by agreement.
Okay. So once Ada had returned to South Carolina, what developed as far as that custody dynamic, specifically with regard to your role?
So the parents were in contested custody litigation. The mother wanted Aida to stay here, of course, with her. Mr. Mello was in Italy, and I think there were some criminal charges that he was working through before he could return here.
Mhm.
So they were just in what I would consider very highly contested litigation. Mr. Mello regularly emailed me, and he was a very difficult litigant to manage.
Now, she talks about these emails, guys, with 100% certainty that she's being contacted by Mr. Mello. Okay. And it seems like the state wanted to kind of suggest, and that's what I thought was happening, but it seems like the state kind of wanted to suggest that really it was Zach the whole time. It was Zach, not Mr. Mello. It was Zach sending these emails as per his instructions, right? Mr. Mello's instructions. But there's some interesting things here that might show that's not the case.
Speaking to this particular dispute, was this the first time? But let me back up. Was it your role upon being appointed guardian ad litem to investigate a little bit into the history between the custody dynamic?
Yes, typically I'll speak to the prior guardian ad litem if there was an older case. In this case, sadly, the parents had been fighting since Aida was 3. So there were several cases, Greenville County and Pickens, and I was able to talk to the prior guardian ad litem and increasingly grew concerned about Mr. Mello.
So you said you communicated with Mr. Mello through email. Was that primarily the method of communication, or like the only method of communication?
It was the only method of communication except one phone call I had with him.
So over the course of your role as guardian ad litem, approximately how many emails did you exchange with Mr. Mello?
I don't even know if I could count them. I know when we printed them for the family court trial, I think it was 3 or 4 reams of paper.
So also in the course of once Aida returns from Italy, did Mr. Mello continue to communicate with you?
Yes, he was continuing to communicate, harass, threaten, intimidate, bully. His communications were unlike anything I've ever encountered as a guardian. And so they continued to escalate. And I was pretty concerned.
So not getting into the specifics of maybe some of the things that he messaged you, but what kind of, when you say threats and harassment, what kinds of things was he conveying to you?
He would tell me that I always needed to be looking over my shoulder.
Well, this is crazy, but we're going to skip past this to get to the part I was looking for here because we've already heard it.
Posts. He said awful things, that we were trafficking children, child pornography in my law office, and put my
Incredible.
Role and this line of communication began. Did you receive similar types of emails from, let's say, third parties?
Okay.
Yes, I would start receiving emails early on, not just from Mr. Mello, but from other people on his behalf, multiple different, one was an attorney, one was a private investigator, allegedly on me from the litigation.
Would you attempt to follow up with these individuals when they reach out to you?
She tries to follow up.
So we could see a lot of air or private investigator email.
With you in the role as guardian ad litem, what findings did you make as to the lengths that Mr. Mello would go to get custody back of Aida?
He was very clear that there was nothing off limits.
Nothing
He
off
was,
limits.
like I said, threatening, harassing, intimidating, and he was consistently doing it, these hundreds and hundreds of emails. Sometimes he was represented by attorneys, sometimes he was not. And it was...
One thing I will note, because we were talking about this earlier, the fact that she says nothing was off limits, he would do anything to get her back. Remember how we were talking about...
It was
better pause for her. How we were talking about if indeed John Mello didn't know that there was actual CSAM stuff happening or abuse or whatever happening with his daughter. And there was debate over whether that he learned about that after the murder or before. But even if he learned about it after the murder, remember the 6 month mark was ending in October. So in other words, even if he didn't know about things going on, and she's totally under the impression that there was nothing untoward going on at the house, right? So you can take that out of the picture. She's saying that the custody issue alone, he would stop at nothing. There's nothing he wouldn't do. And so just to circle back with that, then that 6-month mark where he would have lost custody in October of 2021 would be enough there, even if he didn't have motivation because of the exploitation. However, again, the important thing there is that, again, it's more difficult to imagine how Zach Hughes got involved if indeed he killed Christina on Mello's behalf, because it's like, again, you have to think like, well, maybe he didn't, maybe there was, is it possible that there was like abuse going on, right? But Mello didn't know it, but he made those allegations to motivate Zachary Hughes to be like, you want to take out one of these people like vigilante style. And then coincidentally turned out to also be true. We've talked about that a little bit before, but okay, let's keep watching.
This was the worst case I've ever worked on as far as representing a child's interest, but at the same time, having a parent act like that. It came to the point, even early on, I think in May of 2021, I brought a motion to the court as the child's guardian, asking for a psychological evaluation of him and asking that the mother be allowed to end phone calls if the child.
So this is important for the timeline because this is like what, 6 months or so before the homicide?
Yes, this is addressed to me at my office on Washington Street.
Okay, so we can get past the envelopes.
You after receiving this envelope, Mello's actions in the custody dispute.
Yes, this would be in line with also what he emailed, how he conducted himself. He was determined to discredit and disparage.
So what's important there, she's saying that the things that she got in the envelopes, right? Think about this, right? With all the allegations and the harassment, whatever, who did the mail. She's saying that the emails and the shit in the envelopes, everything was consistent. And what's interesting is that when you look at what happened to Christina, right? And you look at all the stuff with like the postings with the escort stuff and the allegations, and everything is consistent. So it's almost like, okay, like if the same person is doing the envelopes and the emails with her, and then someone is doing the exact same behaviors with someone else, then is that same person doing all of it with everybody, right?
Ruin the reputation and character of the mother. He was in a custody battle. So he was determined for her to be thought of in a certain light and hopefully be determined to be unfit.
So at the time you received these, let's say in July and August of 2021,
July and
what
August
was the posture of the custody dispute?
We were just moving right along. I think I'd had the motion for him to have a psychological evaluation. The mother had custody at that time. Of course, even though I had reason to be concerned about Mr. Mello and how he conducted himself, I also had a duty to investigate the allegations he was making against
him. So this is important. July and August of 2021, she has to investigate these allegations that he's making. Okay.
And I did that to the best of my ability. I've never done this before, but I actually hired a private investigator to look into things for me. I tried to find out if there was anything true about the allegations he was making, because this little girl was in that woman's home. Yeah. And her interests were my duty. So
she goes on to say how she looked into it, and she says that she thought Aida was thriving, and it's clear she didn't find anything troublesome. Okay.
She was actually using drugs, and said she was living with her sister at the time. We asked her.
Okay, keep going a little bit.
Had you been asked to make the recommendation, would you have recommended Aida to stay with Christina Parcell?
Yes. So in family,
again, she's following up with that. She would have said stay with her.
At the time of the murder, would John Mello have been aware of any reports or recommendations that would have been negatively oriented towards him?
He would definitely have been aware of my motion to have him psychologically evaluated. He would be aware of my concerns about him through our hundreds, if not thousands, of emails back and forth. I don't hold back when I'm the guardian. So if he's making allegations And I'm asking him, please substantiate these. If you're going to accuse the mother of this, please give me substantiation and I will investigate this. If he says neighbors are watching something, please give me the neighbors' names. I will bring, I have the ability as guardian to bring a motion before the court to
and it would have been in his best interest to do this, right? If it existed.
have her removed.
Yeah,
If the
have
court
her removed, and that's what he wanted. So, but he couldn't produce anything, right?
has substantiation of the concerns, and he would just
This is
play.
why it's so crazy that it, and we're going to get to it. That's why I wanted to watch this. This is why it's so crazy that the things he was saying end up being true somehow. But how?
Games and tell me he couldn't give me the names of the witnesses he knew about because he needed to save them when he sued me in civil litigation. And so he was very aware that I was not a fan of how he conducted himself. If you're worried about a child enough to make substantial allegations, and this guardian is appointed only for her interests, please work with me. Even if we had differences, set them aside, help me help your child.
Of course it works, Twiz. Twiz is using commands. So I just wanted to read. So this is so crazy. It makes me feel like he used AI to make it appear Post and Christina were doing right. I have been thinking the same thing, Denise. I have been thinking the same thing. I've been thinking the same thing. Something is up here, right? Because again, she would have found it if it was happening. That's why I'm like, what's going on? Is this about the timeline? But the problem is that remember, Aida was in Italy prior to this. So it couldn't have been going on then. She was in Italy with, well, John Mello. So, okay, this is insane.
And he was definitely not.
Wow, Denise.
So
Denise says, I had a CP case once, and with a computer expert, we proved the CP was put on via a virus. Holy shit.
before the murder on October 13th, 2021, when was the last time that Mr. Mello saw Ida?
Prior to the murder?
Prior to the murder.
He would have seen her last in Italy when Christina, the mother, flew over to get her per the Hague order and fly her home. So I think he had seen her there in Italy. To my knowledge, he had not returned to our country until after the murder.
So that would have been April 2021?
Yes.
Well,
Is there any significance in the time span from April to October of 2021 with regard to the custody dispute and the positioning of the parties?
Well, in family court, we really look at how often you see your child. Are you supporting your child financially?
Let me go forward a little bit.
In person.
Let's say prior to October 13th of 2021, did you know who he was?
So when you're a guardian ad litem, both parents give you lists of character witnesses.
So basically, this is, so she's going to talk about if she had ever knew who Zachary Hughes was. And one of the other things that I found that was interesting, I'll just recap it so we can get to the next part I was looking for, is that, remember when I said these are some interesting things in here about these emails that again, she's not even, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. She's like, this is John Mello, right? But even if someone is thinking, you know, that maybe it's Zachary all along, right? Like, because again, it's the same MO. It's the same MO. That's why I'm like, this matters because it's got to be the same person doing all this. You know, there's the thing here about Zachary's on the list of character witnesses, but there's also something else even bigger than that.
State's Exhibit.
October 21st, which we thought was unusual because there was nothing pending at that particular time.
This timeline here. So,
and it actually might be, I'm trying to remember where that is. It might be on cross, but so I'll just summarize it. So the other thing that's even more interesting is the fact that, remember, when she had those certain emails, Zachary Hughes was CC'd on them, right? Zachary was CC'd, like copied on the emails that she was being sent. So why on earth, if Zachary was sending those emails, would he copy himself with his actual full name, with his legit Gmail email address where it says zacharyhughes@gmail.com or whatever? It's something like that. Why would he copy? So that's where she says she recognizes his name from, was because it was literally spelled out plain as day like that for the Gmail account, CC'd. Why would he do that? That makes literally no sense. It would make sense though if it was John Mello, right?
in September of 2021,
Okay.
what purpose would this affidavit have in the custody dispute? Or was there a place for this affidavit in the custody dispute
I can go forward a little bit. I need to get to the part about the email accounts.
after the murder that this is filed?
Correct. And we were back.
Briefly, speaking of these emails you would receive from third parties,
Here we go.
what were some of those parties, or those individuals, purported individuals that you could recall?
So she already had answered that, but he asked her again, so we can skip that part. We're going to get to where the emails were being processed by, or whatever you call it.
Acceptable.
So specifically, you said Mullen investigations.
I could not find them.
Carlucci, one of these individuals that reached out to you?
Yes, she was very involved with helping
Carl, who might have sent them?
me. She's never met me. She's right. Mr. Mello would address me and email me. I tried, and sometimes I would try to see if the sheriff's office could help with tracking the emails, but if they
Here
were
we
from
go.
proton.com or there were other ways we could never really seem to trace them, and I'm not
Proton.com.
really good at that computer forensic stuff, but I could never find the source of the emails. But my suspicion was a lot of them seemed to talk a lot like Mr. Mello.
So she said proton.com, and I didn't know what that was at the time, right? It's not until later, like I think the next day, when they bring in the witnesses who did all the forensics, that we learn what proton.com is. And remember, they said they talked about Proton and I think some other ones, and all of them were European. And I remember Proton was out of Switzerland. You guys remember that part where it's like Switzerland has different laws? And immediately when I hear that, I'm like, that's Mello, right? Like that's Mello. And so it's just all of this. I just find all of that very interesting. Okay, so now we're going to look at this Fitz News. Are you guys ready for this? Oh boy. I don't know if y'all are ready for this jelly, as they say. Okay. I wish I could make this bigger. That's what she said. Okay, so I'm skipped some of the backstory here. So first, Parcell's fiance, Bradley Post, was, it's spelled with no E. That's weird. Was arrested on October 19, 2021 in connection with a CP investigation, blah, blah. So here's his charges, because remember, I can't find these charging documents or anything like that. Currently facing 5 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor in the first degree, 1 count of sexual exploitation of a minor in the third degree, and 1 count of third degree criminal sexual content with a minor, and 1 count of buggery. They're all pending, and they're being prosecuted by Alan Wilson. Shout out to Alan Wilson. Okay, in addition to the criminal charges, Post and Parcell were listed as defendants in 2 civil lawsuits, which we're going to look at. One brought on behalf of Parcell's own daughter. Well, there we go. Guys, there's the answer. Okay, so what I'm thinking now, remember we were talking about this earlier, and I was like, so Jane Doe, we don't know. So now I'm thinking that Jane Doe is the daughter, and then Jane Doe's friend is the friend. There's the answer. So that is, wow. Okay. According to the first lawsuit filed on behalf of a friend of Parcell's daughter, right? Parcell and Post pictures, videos in states of undress, da, da, da. According to the second lawsuit, Parcell's own daughter was photographed and videoed in various stages of undress and in sexually explicit and nude positions. Graphic. Sources familiar with evidence in this case say Parcell was not only aware these images and videos were being produced, but may have even appeared alongside her daughter in several of the pornographic productions. I say again, I want to know when this is happening. That's what we're going to see in the lawsuits, right? Because again, how did the guardian ad litem not find this? And if it had happened in the past, she would have found it. And if it happened after, it would have had to have been between August and October of 2021. That's just not a very big window. These are pictures of the victim with a cute little puppy. Not surprisingly, Parcell's alleged participation in the production and dissemination of child CP, involving her own daughter, has changed some of the underlying calculus surrounding the murder prosecution of Hughes. As far as I'm concerned, here we go. Hughes did everyone a favor, a source familiar with the case told me. I just wish he could have gotten the fiance too. Here we go. And you see what this is. If you're John Mello, though, isn't this exactly what you want everyone to think? For various reasons. There's another engaging component to this saga that could further complicate the prosecutorial calculus, a component that's even sicker and more twisted if the reports are to be believed. And as investigators scoured through evidence collected at the murder scene, a new category of victims came into focus: animals. And we haven't heard anything about that. I'm sure it's not going to come in unless the defense can get it in somehow. But animals. According to my sources, again, this is Fitz News, the buggery charge against Post stems from a trove of materials uncovered in the aftermath of Parcell's murder, depicting the couple, both individually and together, engaging in sexual intercourse with animals. Multiple dogs, in particular, were allegedly victimized by the couple. Quote, it's some of the vilest material I've ever seen, end quote. A veteran prosecutor familiar with the images and videos told me this week. This is insane. I mean, and then you have all these pictures with the animals. You guys, the puppies. Like what? Look, and that looks a lot like Heather's dog. Where's Heather? He's not falling over. He's standing. That's a senior citizen, I think. I mean, it just blows the mind, doesn't it? Like, look at this. Oh, boy. In addition to her work at the veterinary hospital, Parcell routinely brought dogs home to be fostered, in scare quotes, according to Canebrake neighbors. None of them stayed that long, though, one neighbor told us. South Carolina is the only state in America which still classifies sexual offenses against animals under a catch-all anti-sodomy statute, the abominable crime of buggery. Buggery generally refers to anal. Oh, wow. I did not think that's what that was. I did not know that's what, wow, buggery. So, okay, whenever we've heard buggery, I thought that was like spying or something, right? Like bugs. So that's not it at all. It refers to anal intercourse between humans or any sexual activity between a human and an animal. Wow, this is awful. Here's as per the statute. Whoever shall commit the abominable crime of buggery, whether with mankind or with beast, shall on conviction be guilty of felony and shall be imprisoned in the penitentiary for 5 years or shall pay a fine of not less than $500 or both at the discretion of the court. South Carolina clearly needs to update its criminal statutes regarding sexual crimes involving animals. Hughes's murder case is expected to be tried sometime in early 2024. Try 2025. There's no timetable at this time. This article's from 2023. There's no timetable for post-prosecution. And there's Will Folks. We watched a video with him earlier. There he is on a phone. Y'all, okay. So now, we're going to take a look at this is the lawsuit, believe it or not, of John Mello suing all these people, right? Okay. Believe it or not. We just heard the Guardian ad litem reference this. This is from October 18th of 2024. John Mello and the defendants are the Greenville County Sheriff's Office, the Greenville County Solicitor's Office, and Vanessa Cormillo, which is the Guardian ad litem we were just watching. Okay, establishing jurisdiction. You don't need to read that part. Yeah, jurisdiction. Facts. Plaintiff and Christina Parcell, who were never married, are the parents of one minor child, AM, born in 2012. So she was never married to Mello. In October 2015, the plaintiff filed for custody of his daughter. On January 4th, granted sole custody. We know all this history. Okay, here we go. In 2017, plaintiff filed to revoke Ms. Parcell's visitation due to suspicions of sexual inappropriateness and or abuse. Okay, so this is already giving us some insight, right? In 2017. Now, here's the thing, right? Because John Mello is a horrible, evil, like manipulator that has done all this shit, right? And like I was saying, the timeline matters. This says in 2017. So due to suspicions of sexual inappropriateness. And remember, it's like, well, he was making all these allegations that are just completely unfounded. He said the same thing of the Guardian ad litem herself, right? But that's why it's so weird, because we're learning that unless it was AI with a virus, like Denise was saying, where ostensibly it actually happened, right? But again, if it really happened, how did the Guardian ad litem not find it? I don't understand. None of it makes sense. From 2017 to 2019, plaintiff continued to try to remove his daughter from having visitations with the mother due to continued allegations of sexual inappropriateness and abuse. He contacted the DSS. Oh, like they were referencing that in the video, the DSS report. Okay, regarding his fears for his daughter's safety, but was unsuccessful in retaining any help. On January 28th, 2019, they agreed on a visitation schedule. Plaintiff was again granted full custody. However, plaintiff continued to suspect that his daughter was in danger while visiting her mother. So this is in 2019. So again, it sounds like the Guardian ad litem, right, that we just watched, she didn't get involved until the Italy thing. So, and we know that the daughter returned from Italy in 2021. So, and I think they said she was taken to Italy in October of 2020. I have it written down. I think it's October 2020. So again, all of this is before she even knew any of was involved, right? Oh, there it is. On or about October 4th, 2020, the plaintiff who was a citizen of Italy, moved back to Italy with his daughter due to continued concerns of sexual abuse. Well, you don't have to go all the way to Italy for that, but anyway, at the time, plaintiff had full custody. On or about October 30th, 2020, Ms. Parcell filed a rule to show cause, alleging that he was not following the visitation order. Oh, and here we go. There it is. Yeah, exactly. Then that's when Miss Mello comes into the picture. She was appointed the guardian ad litem on December 16th, 2020. So again, here's our timeline. So far, all these other allegations, if they're true, or were before, which again, if they're true, she should have found it. And anyway, okay. So on or about April 14th, 2021, the minor child was returned to the U.S. by blah, blah, blah. We know all that. All this stuff, indictment for this is where he got his indictment. So an indictment was issued for plaintiff on the charges of custodial interference and signed by Assistant Solicitor Ryan Holloway. And so this is where they're saying that they never informed anyone on the grand jury that the plaintiff was the minor child's sole custodial parent, and then an arrest warrant was sought. Defendant Vanessa Cormillo instigated the arrest of the plaintiff by consistently reaching out to the sheriff's officers requesting the arrest of the plaintiff, despite knowing or should have known that the plaintiff's actions did not violate any custody orders. An arrest warrant was issued for plaintiff's arrest, even though officers Anderson and Perry were aware that the plaintiff was the minor child's sole custodial parent. Mello was still in Italy at the time of the arrest. Okay, on October 13th, 2021, Christina Parcell was killed. Look at how short that sentence is compared to everything else. During the investigation of Miss Parcell's death, photos and other proofs of look at this now. Look at this now, guys. Look at this. What do you know? Photos and other proof substantiated plaintiff's claims that the minor child was being sexually exploited. So he's like, see, I told you so. I was right. I mean, that's what that reads like to me. I mean, it's like, did he get lucky? Did he create this? I don't understand how his claims could be substantial. I don't know. Bradley Post was arrested. Plaintiff returned to the U.S. without a cell phone. Zachary Hughes was charged. Wow, he was charged on November 3rd, 2021. I didn't realize it was that soon after the homicide. I don't think they told us that. In the trial. I would have remembered that because October 13th was the homicide, November 3rd. It seemed like it took a lot longer when you looked at all the ways that they got to him, right? With all the, wow, interesting. Oh, Zachary Hughes' phone was locked with military grade encryption, and it would take the Greenville Sheriff's Office over 9 months to unlock it. I thought they said it took 2 years. I mean, they did say 2 years. I remember that because I made a big deal about it because I was like, that's even longer than Paul's phone. On October 21st, the plaintiff was arrested for custodial interference by Charlotte Police, North Carolina, after returning to the States. When the warrant was sought by the Greenville Sheriff's Office, the magistrate was not informed that the plaintiff was the sole custodial parent of the minor child. In October 21st, 2021, plaintiff was wrongfully arrested by the officers. The arrest was based on the false premise that plaintiff, and how crazy though, right? He's saying, hey, I'm the one that is a victim here due to false premises, right? Of things I didn't do. And it's just so wild where it's like, but also it seems like he's the one doing those things. Okay. Wow. Interesting. Officers Anderson and Perry, Solicitor Wilkins, and the Assistant Solicitor Ryan Holloway became obsessed with plaintiff and the idea that he murdered Miss Parcell. Well, that's understandable. Yeah, I just didn't know. They didn't say that in the trial, which is interesting, right? Again, why would you leave that out? They did not give a date. And maybe because they feared the jury would be like, wow, that was really fast considering all the stuff you just showed us. Because it made it look like there was the number of steps that we saw made it look like it was way more time than that. Officers Anderson and Perry, in conjunction with the Greenville Solicitor's Office, began to use the arrest for custodial interference, even though plaintiff was the custodial parent of the minor child, to prevent him from returning to Italy. They prevented him from returning to Italy in hopes that Zachary Hughes' phone would unlock. They would have evidence implicating the plaintiff in Miss Parcell's murder. Wow. Yeah, I bet they did, right? Zachary Hughes' phone was eventually unlocked, missing a capital H there, unyielding no evidence that plaintiff was involved in the death of Miss Parcell. Then defendants were made aware, again, there's another grammatical error there, that the plaintiff could not be guilty of custodial interference because Miss Parcell's, again, that's possessive. It shouldn't be. Like, this is a lot of typos here. Holy shit. He's not a custodial parent. And then this is where he gets whatever the fuck, we heard that earlier. He got a motion for directed verdict a motion for a directed verdict. And it was he was acquitted from the judge acquitted him there. So after 8 months of additional delay, the South Carolina Attorney General's refused to continue the appeal. They didn't terminate his prosecution. Here we go. And then on October 16, 2024, plaintiff was exonerated of all charges by direct verdict. There it is. And then an order for destruction of his criminal records stemming from, that's really interesting. Why would they, they destroyed all the criminal records? I don't know. Is that normal? Denise, do you know? It seems odd. It seems like they should be there. And then you're like, but he was exonerated, whatever. Defendant, the Greenville County Solicitor's Office, upon review of the matter and charges, continued to prosecute against the plaintiff, failing to present exculpatory evidence to the grand jury showing that the plaintiff was assaulted. Yeah, you've only said that about a bazillion times. The charges were initiated by the sheriff's office without probable cause and with malice and were based on false, misleading, or insufficient information. Defendants knew or should have known that there was no legitimate basis to arrest or prosecute the plaintiff, yet they proceeded with the prosecution anyway. As a result of this malicious prosecution, the plaintiff was subjected to arrest, detention, bail conditions, and other consequences, causing plaintiff to suffer great emotional distress, humiliation, and financial loss. Well, I think that's not an issue for him. He seems to have no end in sight with the money there. Exonerated by all charges. Wait, what? Did it circle? Hold on. It already said. Oh my God, who did this? You guys. So look at 39 and 40. 39 is exonerated, directed verdict. 40 is destroying the criminal records. Okay, we're going along. It's supposed to be like in chronological order, blah, blah, blah. And then here, they're repeated here. Wow. Who did this? Look, and it's the same. The numbers are still going up, right? But then it's the exact same things. Exonerated, destruction, weird. I think this was also repeated as well. Now, this one's different. As a direct and proximate result of the defendant's gross, negligent, reckless, unlawful conduct described above, plaintiff suffered damages, including but not limited to pain, suffering, emotional damage, any such damages. It'll be interesting to see what he says, if he says anything about the financial damages here. So first cause of action is malicious prosecution. Plaintiff reasserts and realleges, blah, blah, blah. The agents were prosecutors were acting under the color of law. Probable cause. Prosecution was initiated or continued without probable cause. He was exonerated. And then again, that's repeating it, but he's continued to suffer, according to him. Okay, for a second cause of action, abusive process. Plaintiff realleges the foregoing, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah. There again. Emotional distress, financial loss, and reputation harm, sorry. And then malicious injury to property. What property? It doesn't even say. It just says damages to his personal property enforced. Okay. And then barratry. I mean, I guess that's like berating, but I don't know how you say that. Barrage. I've never seen that word before. I don't know how to. Barratry sounds weird though. But anyway, yeah, conducted with the intention to harass, vex, like a witch, and cause harm to the plaintiff. As a result, suffered damages. Fifth cause of action: civil conspiracy. Wow. Really? That's a lot. Wow. Defendants acting individually and in concert with one another engaged in a conspiracy to violate the plaintiff's rights by engaging in unlawful conduct, including but not limited to malicious prosecution and abusive process. And then again, same thing here, loss of things, except this time he's added liberty into the mix. Defendants' actions were willful, malicious, as in reckless. Wow, this is really poorly written. That should say in a, and instead it says an in. reckless regard, I should say disregard, disregard for the plaintiff's constitutional and legal rights, justifying an award of punitive. I mean, if I were a judge getting this, I'd be like, I'm throwing this out. This is a disaster. Justifying an award of punitive damages in addition to punitive damages. Oh my God. Or, well, okay, throwing it out. I guess it would be like, can you redo this and make it like less shitty in terms of just basic grammar and punctuation? So wherefore, the plaintiff prays for judgment against the defendant for actual damages and pain and suffering. He wants a jury trial for the cost of this action and any other such relief as the court may deem. Now, this is the attorney who unfortunately had to represent him in that matter. Okay. So now, we're going to go to the lawsuits of with the children. Okay. So the first one. Okay. So the first one is let me see here. Let me just make sure I don't need also this one. Okay, we'll go with the amended complaint. Okay. We'll go with the amended complaint. All right. So this is the first one. So this we now, from what the Fitz News thing said that we just read, this Jane Doe must be the daughter, Aida. So this is from March 17th of 2022. So again, after Christina's deceased. So Eden Rogers is the guardian ad litem for Jane Doe, right? And then the defendants are Bradley Post and the estate of Christina Lorraine Parcell. Which is interesting, right? Because it's like the daughter suing her mother's estate, really. I mean, that's what it is. If her mother were still alive, she could be suing the mother and not the estate of her mother. Okay. Oh, well, never mind. Weird then. Why did it say, never mind, hold on. The plaintiff, Eden Rogers, acting on behalf of Jane Doe, is the mother of the minor child, Jane Doe. Well, then how come? So the Fitz News thing, I thought it clarified that it was like definitely the daughter and then the friend. Well, maybe it'll become clear as we keep reading. Okay. Okay. I don't know. Okay, given the sensitive nature of the facts of this case and the age of the victim, the minor child for whom the gal has been appointed shall be referred to as Jane Doe. Yeah, of course. All right, facts. Okay, let's figure it out, guys, or try to anyway. Jane Doe was a friend of Parcell's minor daughter. All right. Jane Doe spent time with Parcell's minor daughter while under the supervision and in the care of Parcell. Remember when we heard Tina testify? This is really sad, right? We heard Tina testify, Christina's sister, right? About how she was making friends in the neighborhood and she was thriving, but they were afraid to let her play outside and stuff like that. Remember all that testimony? I mean, this is all very different now, knowing that they're like, this is the friend of the daughter, right? It's not giving a year, but I'm sure it will at some point. Okay. During the time that Jane Doe spent with Parcell and her minor daughter, Parcell and Post took pictures, videos of and with Jane Doe in states of undress and sexually provocative positions. The plaintiff is informed and believes that during the investigation of the murder of Parcell, yeah, the cell phone, we know. The plaintiff is informed and believes, in addition to the photos and videos of Jane Doe found on Post's phone, A search warrant for post residence resulted in the seizure of various computers, video cassettes, cameras, cell phones, thumb drives, recording devices, digital storage devices, and tablets. A review of those items revealed explicitly nude pictures of and videos of the plaintiff, Jane Doe. At all times that said inappropriate pictures or videos were taken, Jane Doe was and continues to be a minor child. Thus, such photographing and videoing of the child could not be consented to by the plaintiff. Jane Doe and such was not, or plaintiff Jane Doe, and was such not consented to on behalf of her right. Okay. In addition, the pictures revealed that Parcell was present in the images, showing the plaintiff Jane Doe in these positions, blah, blah, blah. Parcell was entrusted with the care and control of the plaintiff. So here they're establishing why Christina Parcell's estate is also being named as a defendant in this lawsuit, because she was entrusted with the care and custody of the plaintiff while in her care. While in the presence of the defendants, Jane Doe was photographed and videoed and very, again, it's repeating that. And then here we go. There it is. Breast, genitals, and pubic area. Oh my God. The defendant posted with the consent and assistance of Parcell, imported these photographs and videos to his cell phone and computer and saved them in files and other storage devices, making the plaintiff the object of CP. The plaintiff is informed and believes that the defendants knowingly and intentionally forwarded to others. Here's the dissemination. This is insane. From his or her, their computer and other devices, copies of the photographs of the minor victim as the object of child pornography for other persons and themselves for their consumption. It's all of the bad things. They did all the bad things. It wasn't just abusing them. It was abusing them and taking pictures and videos and then saving it and then disseminating it. The defendant, Christina Parcell, aided and abetted and conspired with the plaintiff to take these pictures and videos. The defendant's criminal, willful, reckless, and inappropriate sexual conduct towards plaintiff Jane Doe, including but not limited to photographing her in various stages of undress, was in violation of the plaintiff's privacy. So the first cause of action is assault and battery. The defendants committed acts of inappropriate sexual conduct towards the plaintiff's body, included but not limited to sexual misconduct, sexual assault and battery, sexual abuse, inappropriate sexual conduct, all the bad things. I'm not going to read all this because it's just horrifying. You guys can see it on the screen. By their conduct and their dominant position as adults, defendants placed the plaintiff in reasonable fear of bodily harm. Remember how I talked about this, guys? There we go. You guys remember how I said that is a bold move and also crazy to how they were able to coerce, the friend of the daughter, right? Like, how do you, we talked about this. I was like, how do you do this to someone who's not living in your home where you have so much control? And I said, they must have been threatened or something like that. Like, they must have been threatened into this. And there it is. The defendants played the fear of bodily harm if they did not comply. They being the minor child, Jane Doe. Fear of bodily harm if they didn't comply. There you go. The touching of the plaintiff by the defendants before, during, and after was done with the intent of bringing about offensive contact upon the plaintiff. The plaintiff is suffering, continues to suffer economic and non-economic damages. I mean, of course, I'm sure this list is endless. It's fucked up. It's awful. I can't even. Plaintiff is reasonably expected to suffer from such damages in the future. And that's important when it comes to civil cases. If indeed they don't settle and they do go to a jury trial, they will end up calculating what they can expect the costs of the damages to be for the rest of the victim's natural life. And the way that they do that is they have like all these charts and stuff. They bring in all these experts and they have charts who look at like the, age, what is it called? What is it? Life expectancy. That's what I'm looking for, the life expectancy. And then they add in like the health and all that. And then they do all these calculations and they figure out for the next 80 years or whatever, and they do it. And then that's how they calculate it. Well, you've missed a lot of stuff, Denise. Yeah. But that's great. Glad you're talking to your daughter. This is, we've covered we've been powering through a lot here, and there's a lot to think about. Defendant's actions were outrageous, intentional, willful, wanton, and or reckless. Punitive damages are warranted in an amount that will punish and deter other defendants. Second cause of action, intentional infliction of emotional distress, also known as IIED. They incorporate everything from previously, that's standard fare there. Such acts of the defendants were extreme, outrageous, intentional, and reckless. Again, it's listing all of the issues right here. Not issues isn't the right way to say it. Damages, right? Medical, psychological, counseling and related expenses, pain of mind and body, fear, shock, emotion. Again, I'm not going to, We can't even imagine. I'm not going to read all of it. And again, adding to the fact that, you know, where again, sometimes with family members, right? It's like they're coerced and manipulated and gaslit, and that's awful. And in this case, because this is not a family member, it was threatened with physical harm if they didn't comply. So add that to it. Third cause of action, negligent infliction of emotional distress. Again, a lot of this is going to be the same. These are just different causes of action. Fourth cause of action, invasion of privacy. They have the right to privacy. A lot that's pretty self-explanatory. Prayer for relief. So damages for the mental anguish in the appropriate amount, actual damages in the appropriate amount, punitive damages in the appropriate, and that's because that will be determined again later. Attorney's fees, costs, expenses, interest, and then other relief as the court deems just and proper. That's standard languaging as well. So again, that was from February 2nd of 2022. Well, actually, that's the amended complaint. So that's from March 17th of 2022. Our motion to compel. So let's take a look at what this motion to compel is, shall we? This is from September of 2022. Is it that short? Wow. Okay. Well, that's not all that exciting. I'm just scrolling through the docket here. I'll show you guys what I'm looking at. Motion for continuance, order for continuance, motion to stay. Okay, so it's right now it's in a paused state. It's been stayed, and I'm sure that's because he's in custody, right? We know how this works with these cases. When you've got criminal charges and civil complaints that are overlapping, right? The thing you want to do is you want to stay if you can, right? By stay, I mean, you know, put on pause, right? Push out the date for these civil complaints until, you know, if there's a conviction, right? Because then if there is a conviction for the criminal charges, then that just makes it even more, you guys are probably familiar with this. We see this all the time and stuff where, you know, there's civil suits brought against somebody. You know, we even, people have been talking about recently P. Diddy, right? Like all those civil lawsuits, they're going to wait until something happens with the criminal trial. But again, there's tons of examples. Karen Reed, even there's lawsuits there that were filed early on, but like they're all being stayed right now until the criminal proceedings are finished. So now we're going to pop over to the other minor child. The one I just read was a friend of, sorry. Yes, the one that I just read was Jane Doe suing, a guardian ad litem on behalf of Jane Doe suing Bradley Post and Christina Parcell's estate because it was after she was already deceased. And the Jane Doe, they said, was the friend, you know, playmate of Aida, right? Came over to their house to play. And again, it's really sickening because we heard all that testimony from the sister about how great it was. And she had her little friends in the neighborhood and they would come over and play and, you know, all that, right? I mean, like just my mind right now. Like the way that Tina described it was like, you just, but this is now more on to the next. So this next one here. So now we've got another minor child. I believe this is the one we want. Okay. So now we have a different oh, wait, sorry, I'm not sharing it. Now we have a different legal guardian, friend of Jane Doe. And remember, Jane Doe is a friend of Aida. So we don't know yet. This is his next friend. We don't know. Could this be Aida? I don't know. Again, the Fitz News article made it sound like Aida was, how did they phrase it? I mean, I'm like, hold on. Right here. Yeah. One brought on behalf of Parcell's own daughter. So we just read the first one, and the first one's not the daughter because it named the name, included the name of the child's mom, and it was Eden something, Eden Rogers. So that means that this one that we're about to read has to be, unless they're just wrong here, unless they're just wrong. I mean, you know, but I would be very surprised if they had that incorrectly, but we will see. So Allison Sutherland is the gal, right? Okay. Again, the defendants here are Bradley Post and the estate of Christina Parcell, and this one was filed after the one we just read. How long after, you might be asking? Not that long after. The one we just read was March of 2022. This is August 2022. Okay. I wonder if this is Aida. Can you imagine? This might, I mean, according to Fitz News, this has to be the daughter. It has to be Aida's lawsuit. And again, against Bradley Post and her mom. If her mom was alive, it would be against her mom, but now it's her mom's estate. Oh my God. The plaintiff, Allison Sutherland, is a temporary legal custodian of the minor child and brings action on her behalf. A petition to appoint the plaintiff as guardian ad litem is filed herewith. They're establishing the jurisdiction here. And again, this is the same footnote we saw in the other one, sensitive nature, so they're not going to use their real names. Yeah, this is gotta be, oh boy. Yeah, there it is. Jane Doe and so they're still calling it Jane. That's why it's confusing. They need to be like Jane Doe 1 and Jane Doe 2. This is a different Jane Doe. This is Aida. Look, Jane Doe and Christina Parcell lived with Parcell's sister, Lutina. This is the daughter. This is the fucking daughter's lawsuit. Holy shit. We're going to learn. What is she going to say? This is insane. Well, there are allegations, right, at this juncture. How did the guardian ad litem, though, not find this shit? I just don't know. I don't know. Okay. Upon information and belief, during the course of law enforcement investigation of her mother's murder, law enforcement discovered numerous photographs and videos of various minor children, including Jane Doe, the daughter, various stages of undress, horrible things, graphically depict her genitals and breasts. Petitioners informed and believes that the photographs and videos of Jane Doe were taken by, with, and or in the presence of defendant Post and defendant Parcell. Upon information and belief, defendant Post aided, abetted, and conspired with the defendant to obtain inappropriate photographs and videos of Jane Doe. Jane Doe is a victim of child pornography perpetrated by the defendant Post and defendant Parcell. All these videos and photographs were legally obtained. Upon information and belief, defendant Post, with the knowledge, consent, and assistance of defendant Parcell, duplicated photographs and videos of minor child Jane Doe to his cell phone, computer, and other electronic storage devices. The duplication of sexually explicit photographs of Jane Doe constitutes violations of various state and federal laws, including child endangerment, sexual exploitation of a minor, criminal sexual conduct involving a minor, and constitutes child pornography. Plaintiff is informed and believes that the defendants knowingly and intentionally forwarded. Can you imagine being the daughter and your mom did this? I can't. Forwarded them to third parties. It's just all of the things. Forwarded them and disseminated for viewing by others. The defendant's criminal, willful, and inappropriate sexual conduct towards minor Jane Doe. I'm curious, Denise, because you were talking about that virus thing. I mean, does this rule that out because of the fact that it's like they know that the people in the videos are like themselves, like, and they had like camera equipment and shit? Like, does this? Also, side note, you know what never was talked about, like, at all during the trial? Yeah, the contents of Christina's cell phone. We heard the only time it was brought up was the fact that there was more than one phone, and then there was the clone phone, which no one knew. We didn't know what it meant until yesterday or whatever. But you know that with every victim, they always do an extraction. There was nothing. Nothing. They didn't say a word about it. Her phone. So let's not get confused. Search warrants are criminal, right? So And are you talking about, whose phone are you talking about? When you say she, I assume you're talking about the guardian ad litem, and then maybe you're talking about Christina's phone. So remember, these were filed after the murder. Remember, it was after the murder, like the next week, Bradley Post was arrested, like a week later after the murder for all the CP stuff. So that's how they learned about this. So these are subsequent to that, right? So search warrants are only done by law enforcement. So these are civil complaints. So that's very different. You're dealing with discovery, and I know you guys are familiar with that from criminal trials and cases, but there's no search warrants. There's discovery, and so here that was already managed or handled by the law enforcement officers that took Post's phone, and we still don't know all the details of what the fuck, they couldn't get into that in the trial yet because no opening of the door yet. It's just a lot. I too can see Mello doing this. However, the thing is that we haven't heard it yet from Aida, but from the other Jane Doe, which is Aida's friend, they're not just claiming that there's like CP photos of them that are being disseminated, right? Like these, which is bad. But they're also, let me go back to it just to show you. I don't want to paraphrase. I want to be correct and thorough. But in other words, they're also alleging like the contact, right? Like that it actually happened physically, and then the threat of physical bodily harm if they didn't comply. So that's the distinction there, right? It'd be one thing if they were just making these allegations that these photos surfaced and they're being circulated and disseminated. That's terrible, but it wasn't just that. So here's the part, again, the cell phone. So we're back to the initial lawsuit, which is from Aida's friend. Okay, I'm just going to say that because it's too confusing calling everybody Jane Doe. This is Aida's friend. Okay, and so here's again all the shit, the devices. You can see all that on the screen there. And I'm just going to get to the part. In various stages of undress, cell phone storage, CP, forward them, taking pictures. Inappropriate sexual conduct, photographing, videotaping. Okay, but then here's the assault and battery. Sexual assault, sexual abuse, sexual contact right here. This is what I'm making the distinction with here, guys, because, well, let me just read this again. The defendants committed acts of inappropriate sexual conduct towards the plaintiff's body, including but not limited to sexual misconduct and sexual assault and battery, sexual abuse, culminating in inappropriate sexual contact, and then all the rest. So I just wanted to pull this up so I could be exact about this, so that it wasn't just the pictures, but they're also alleging the things happened, if that makes sense. So what I'm saying is, like, in other words, the child said these things happened to her physically, right? I'm stepping away from the content. I'm stepping away from the images and the videos, and I'm talking about the allegations of the physical touching that the child, well, more than one child has been making. Okay, so now we'll go back to where we were. I just wanted to pull that up to show that has already been alleged there. Okay, so we're back to Aida. So we're still here. They haven't said touching yet explicitly, and I know that word. I mean in the way that the other one just did, right? They're still talking about the photographs and all that, right? Videos again. And then here's the pending criminal charges. So first cause of action, assault and battery. Well, all right. Sexual assault, battery, sexual abuse, said conduct. And a lot of this is probably going to be almost identical to the other lawsuit. And then here we go. The defendant's conduct placed the minor child in reasonable fear of bodily harm, physical abuse, and sexual abuse. Defendants knew or should have known that this conduct was being done. And I mean, yeah, obviously it's just all the things that she suffers. And again, you just remember the whole thing, the guardian ad litem, the child was thriving. The child was thriving. She was living a rich and full life. I looked for these things. And I couldn't find them. I don't know. I don't know. Medical bills are going to be incurred. I mean, it's just, and again, these are going to be a lot of the same. Oh, they've added outrage here. Outrage was not in the other one, I don't think. So IAED, but with an outrage there. Defendants' acts, as noted above, were so extreme, outrageous, and intentional. Oh, this languaging is way more, this is stronger languaging than we had in the first one. So extreme, outrageous, and intentional, that they exceed all possible bounds of decency. I agree. Which the defendants knew or should have known will result in significant emotional and psychological trauma to minor Jane Doe and are regarded as totally intolerable in a civilized community. And again, for anyone that missed it, the bestiality stuff was a whole thing too that we read about from the Fitz News article. All the puppies, can't. As a direct and proximate result of the defendant's intentional and outrageous conduct, Jane Doe has suffered physical and emotional injuries, required her to undergo past, present, and future medical. Now, I will say another difference or distinction between this one and the first lawsuit, medical treatment was not listed there. This seems like there's actual like physical injuries as well, because psychological, we know, right? But that's a separate type. Medical treatment and psychological treatment. I'm just shaking my head. Okay, third cause of action, negligence, recklessness, willfulness, wantonness. If a lawyer, right. Yeah, no, I for sure. I totally get it. Yeah, I totally get it. I just, you know that they interviewed the children. I mean, we already know that. It was already referenced in the Fitz News video we watched earlier, right? In the DSS or whatever, you know, the people that investigate child shit, like these two children were interviewed, right? And I mean, far be it for me to assume that they would lie, because I don't think that I can't imagine that a child, Aida, would lie and make these claims and say, yes, mommy touched me here, Brad, daddy, whatever she called it, I don't know what she called it, you know, blah, touch me there, blah, with her mom being murdered nonetheless, and make those allegations if they were false, because it's like, oh, I want to win a civil lawsuit. Like she would have no idea what it even is, right? There's just not, I don't think that I mean, adults do this all the time, right? They'll make these false allegations and but this is completely different, right? When you're dealing with a minor child and her mom who's been murdered and would have no concept of what would benefit them to make these false. I just wouldn't. I think that's the part that's tough for me, because you know these children were interviewed and they said these things happened to them, right? To their bodies, not just the photos, not just here's a photo that exists, but to them, right? They were threatened or whatever. So financially exploiting them for personal gain and financial benefit. Financial benefit? So were they selling this as well? Please, for the love of God, I can't. By failing to adequately supervise Jane Doe around adults whom the defendants knew or should have known that would cause, well, they were the ones causing the harm. Victim of sexual abuse, child pornography. Again, sexual abuse, not just the CP, but sexual abuse, right? By failing to inform adults who had a duty to protect. Again, I just don't know. There's not a timeline here either. Like, it's not saying it happened on this day and that day, which, I mean, understandable if it was like a daily thing, but still, right? I'm just trying to put it into perspective with the guardian litem, because yeah, something's odd, right? Like, how did both she and the sister get up there and talk about how wonderful their lives were and the thriving? And, you know, I just don't know. Something's add it to the list of things that just, this along with the doors and along with the camera stuff I started the stream with, because that is mind boggling as well. What is happening? It's like there's multiple realities happening at the same time or something. Like, isn't there a movie like that? Invasion of privacy. Again, this is going to be a lot like, and then, okay, motion for injunction and appointment of a receiver. To not get rid of their assets and part of the pendency of the trial. So he can't, in other words, he can't, this is saying for him to not be able to like ditch all of his assets. This is very Murdoch-y, right? We saw that there, where like if you are being named as a defendant in a civil lawsuit, right? This is something that people will do where they try to like all of a sudden move all their money around and like put their shit in other people's names. So that way, when they go to find out how much money they have that they can collect, right? In a lawsuit, it's like, oh, you only have $1 versus $8 billion. You know, I'm just making that up. It's insane. The grounds for the injunction sought by the plaintiff are such that irreparable injury. Okay, yeah, they want the damages, right? A receiver, wherefore. Oh my God, this is just my brain. It just doesn't even. Well, so we did the math, and right now Aida is like 12 or 13. I would assume the friend is around the same age. The only thing that's mentioned in these lawsuits is per the statute to define minor child. It means that they are under the age of 14 when this happened, which they are because they're still younger than that now. So, I mean, I am with you. This is equally as puzzling as all the other things that are equally puzzling, right? Like how. Where was the sister? Check it out. Hang on. Jane Doe and Christina Parcell lived with Christina Parcell's sister. Oh, from April 21. Hold on. Prior to Christina Parcell's death, the minor often spent time with defendant Parcell and defendant Post in Lutina Parcell's home. So essentially, present, essentially, is what they're saying. Present. Present for all this. You know, we heard all the things about how they rekindled their relationship and they had Taco Tuesdays and chopping of the onions. It's just, I don't even know. I mean, I did not for a second think that Lutina came across as like a master liar manipulator, right? She was a little bit combative, understandably so, on Cross, but like, I mean, because what we're seeing here is like she was there, right? I mean, I just don't. I don't understand. I mean, they're not saying literally, they didn't say she was standing there. I'm just, what they're saying, it's one of those things where there could be a subsequent lawsuit against her, right? Remember, right now, she's not a defendant. She's just in charge of the estate for the sister, right? The estate of Christina Lorraine Parcell. So right now, as it pertains to Lutina, she's not being named as a defendant. Doesn't mean she couldn't be. Of course, that happens all the freaking time. So far, all that they're saying about Lutina is this part right here. And I'll even do a control F myself for Lutina and see where all she's mentioned. Let's do that. That'll be smart, thorough. Because that way we'll just make sure. Okay. So 1 of 3, and they're all in this one paragraph. There you go. There you go. That's it. Jane Doe and Christina Parcell lived with Parcell's sister, Lutina, from April 21 to October 21. Christina Parcell was murdered in Lutina Parcell's home. Prior to the death, minor often spent that there. That's it. There's only 3 matches. That's it right there. So you see what I mean? How they're not alleging that she was there and participating or had specific knowledge. But it doesn't mean they won't in the future. However, if this is establishing, right, that Christina was around, even if it's just because one of the causes of action is saying that that the defendants should have but didn't inform other adults of what was going on. And of course they didn't, because they were wanting to do all the bad shit, right? But again, maybe they're referencing this in terms of, hey, here was somebody who's a completely awesome person and doesn't do fucked up shit, and she was around, and you could have informed her that the children were in danger. Of course they wouldn't do that, like I said, because they were the ones doing the bad things. But this is it right here. when he started the accusations. So he started the accusations after he lost custody, which was in hang on. This is Mello's lawsuit. He started the, and we already read this for anyone who's just who missed it. We read, this was the first one we read. It was John Mello's lawsuit against Greenville County Sheriff's Office, Greenville County Solicitor's Office, and the guardian ad litem. So what am I looking for? Oh yeah, when he lost custody. Okay, so what is the question? When he started the accusations? Okay. The exhibits are not attached. So the first time that he makes an allegation, according to himself, right, is here in 2017. In 2017, plaintiff filed to revoke Ms. Parcell's visitation due to suspicions of sexual inappropriateness when the child was with Ms. Parcell and her then boyfriend. So I wonder how old Aida was at the time. What year was she born? It says 2012. So Aida would have been 5 years old when this started, if this is true. I mean, it's anyone's guess. She would have been 5. So, but think about that, right? So when we think about the involvement of AI, it would have had to be able to show her accurately aging throughout all of those years from 2017 to 2021. So going from the ages of what, 5 to like 9? I mean, maybe it can do that. I don't know. October 4th, 2020 is when they moved to Italy. He took the daughter to Italy. And it says here he did that because of the concerns of sexual abuse. But again, like I said, you don't have to go all the way to Italy if you're concerned about, like, you can, anyway, but that's what he's saying. October 4th, 2020. So that would put it from 20, that would put 3 years. But again, if we're thinking, so if maybe it stopped by the, well, okay. I guess ostensibly it would have stopped at this point, right? Because then she's in Italy, but then it would have potentially resumed in April of 2021, potentially. But let's just say, even if we cut it off here and say it stopped when she went to Italy, right? Then you're looking at 3 years. So between the ages of 5 and 8. And again, it's just so wild because of this whole thing of like, oh my God, I don't know. This is insane. It's always there. It's Adobe. This is Adobe. Oh, we should do one of our fun things. We'll do that in a second. Speaking of this, we'll do that in a second. Yeah. It's I really want to know when, I mean, right now, from what we know, it's hard to find information on Bradley post criminal charges and for reasons, right? If anyone wants to try to look for, again, flip for the PCA or the indictment or like anything like that, that gives the specific details of what, they have regarding all of his charges. I looked, I couldn't find it. It's probably not available because of the nature of, subject matter of it. But also I can't find a timeline for anything for his trial. He's being prosecuted by Alan Wilson, who prosecuted Murdoch. So shout out to Alan Wilson. He's awesome. That office did a great job, obviously. But yeah, this is always here. I don't ever use AI. I hate AI. I've never used ChatGPT or anything like that. This is just part of Adobe. It's just there. However, the only time that I used it was on accident. During a live stream when I was trying to highlight something I was reading, and then all of a sudden a thing popped up and it started doing crazy stuff, and I was like, what? And then we had a whole fun squirrely detour for like an hour, and Heather was there, and it was really funny. I think it was actually just me, Heather, and Flash. Shout out to Flash, the 3 of us, and it was for like at least an hour, and then we came back to what we were doing, and then we did another round because it was so much fun. Oh my God, I wish Heather was here because now I want to do it. I'm trying to remember, how did I get that thing even started? It was like I highlighted a word on accident. Okay, let's try this. Let's see if this will do it. That's not what I want. How did I do this? Hmm. Dang it. You know, I think it's because I was using it. I had it downloaded as a PDF and I wasn't using it through the browser. Let me see. Okay, let's see what happens if I do it this way. I'm just because it'll be a good one for this. Trust me, if it'll do it. I already pay for this shit, Adobe. Oh my God. Sign in. I don't know if it's going to make me type in a password, so I'll just pull this up while I get this situated. Yeah, continue with Google. Come on, Adobe. That's probably why it wasn't doing the thing. Okay. I mean, not that I know any of my passwords anyway. Like, I'd be pretty much in big trouble if it needed. I'm like, please just remember. I don't know. Okay, so look at how they spelled alleging wrong. This is John Mello's dot. They spelled alleging wrong. Denise, do you see that shit? Mind-boggling. I'm looking for the word resolution. There's a lot of issues. That's just one I just noticed there. Okay. Oh my God. Continue. Fine. Oh my God. Oh my God. I already clicked on this. Okay. How did we do this before on accident? It was so fun, and we need to do this. We need to do this. Let me try something else. Let me try pulling it up as like a document PDF thing, because that's, I think, how it happened before. Yeah, AI. It's like not letting me highlight things on there. You guys know about the ChatGPT lawsuits? That shit's hilarious. I should cover that. That shit's fucking hilarious. Have you heard of those, Denise? Oh my God. ChatGPT be getting a lot of attorneys in trouble, and then they try to turn around and sue, and it's fucking funny. Let's see. What about, oh, those are all videos. I'm like, I don't know if the DOJ interim policy would be the funnest one. Let's just see here. Okay, I'll just pull up. Why not? I'll just pull up this. Yeah, but it gets a lot of shit wrong because it's coming. It's been causing problems, and there's like People are getting in trouble for it. And there's okay. What is happening? Oh, okay. So that's good. So I wanted to reshare this. Okay, here we go. Okay. I'm not a fan of AI. Okay. So let's see if it'll work. So I think this is how I'm used to doing it. So, okay, like, let's see. Please work. Yes. Okay. Here we go. You guys ready for the funnest time of your lives? Y'all are going to love this. This happened on accident. Like I said, Heather was there and it was the funniest fucking thing. And it was so funny. We did this for like hours. It was great. You guys are in for a treat. This is amazing. So the word that I highlighted, oh, I need to share my whole screen instead. Hold on. It's not just the window. Oh my God. The best part is waiting for it to load and you're like, what's it going to do? It's still loading. So you haven't missed anything. The word was respondent, just to remind you guys. Still loading. Adobe takes forever. It's very slow. See, it's still loading. This is welcome to life with Adobe. Okay, you guys, the word is respondent. This is what it generated. Oh my God, y'all. So and there's a theme that we've noticed, which is that no matter what you search for, they tend to try to, like, the number of images that it presents where there's women with cleavage showing was insane. It was crazy. There was also a thing, and we'll do some other words on, and you'll see where Heather was calling it like Arizona. Like she was like, why does everything look like Arizona? It's like the color palette. So you guys get to pick words. What words should we do? It can be anything. Although it won't let you do dirty words. Like it won't let you do, sometimes we would try to do a word, it would be like, no. So, you know, we can always try it and see, but like literally. It might reject it. We'll see. Yeah, the cleavage. It didn't like the cleavage. There were some really funny ones though. Oh my God. They're time stamped because they were that fucking funny. Let's see. Twiz. It violates a guideline. Does it think that's a bad word? What the fuck? It's disappointing. Oh, what about what was it we did? Shark weasel. Ezra McCandless. It's trying. And here's the thing. Where's the weasel part though? You know what I mean? This looks like shark and not shark weasel. Sometimes it did better with the hybrid animals. This is like what, after reading that stuff that we just read, this is the perfect thing for a moment of getting away from that. Also, look at the little tiny gimpy arms. It reminds me of like those little pictures of like the T-Rex trying to make its bed. God. What is it going to do? Now, I think last time when we tried God, it generated white men with beards. Oh, completely different than last time. And again, with the Arizona theme, see the color palette? Oh my God. So notice that they're all doing a thumbs up. This is craziness. Does it think I meant good and not God? And it's like, good, thumbs up. But see what happens if we do good then. This is me outsmarting the AI. We'll do mermaid unicorn, don't worry. See, this is why this is amazing, because one of these things is not like the other. Like what? You guys, you just never know what you're going to get. It was really funny with places too. Okay, so we're going to do, okay, so Twizzler fish. We'll try that. What's really funny is there was a time where one of the times I tried a bunch of like words that we thought it would do good at. We were trying to give it some softballs and it completely failed. And then I think I was using legal terminology in English and it completely failed. But then I used legal terminology in Russian and it nailed it. And in fact, it was the best it did on any of the images was when I used Russian. Believe it or not. I don't know. So there you go. We've got, you know, it's a cow god. Yeah. It was like 3 women and a cow god. And this is their thing. Anybody that's here live when we do this, they get to make suggestions in the chat. We will see. This is laziness is what I call this. Laziness. Because where's the fucking mermaid tail? All they did was take a unicorn and put it underwater. Laziness. You can do better, Adobe. Oh my God. I mean, which one is y'all's favorite though? This one seems to be the most feminine. What do you guys think? Also, this is definitely based off of, like, I can tell you the horse breeds. Like that one looks weird. That's not horse. This is 100% based off of an Arabian, as in the horse breed, 100%. That's what Arabians look like, minus the horn and the pink mane. That's very pretty. I love Arabians. Yeah, but there's like no tail though. Like why? Why can't we try harder? I'm going to do laziness first because it came up and then we'll go do some other ones. So I mean, what's it going to do? Is it going to show like potato chips or like, I don't know. It's anybody's guess. Could be a cow god. Could be cleavage. You never know. But then you look at like, how does it make the decision to, and why is this person sitting in a bowl? I have no idea. I've literally only done it what you're looking at right now. That's the extent of literally the only thing I've ever done with AI is what you're seeing, what we're doing right now. This is it. Like, okay, fine. I mean, that's like napping. I mean, I don't know. What is this person doing? But like, why is that person in a bowl? Oh, you know what was really funny? When we did pho, you know, like the soup that I love. I wonder if it'll give me the same pictures it did last time. It might be different. It was really funny though what it did last time. Okay, similar but different. So now we have a completely different color palette. They just made that decision. So you guys know pho, like the Vietnamese noodle soup. So like that kind of looks like this one kind of like, okay, do you guys see what this is? That's a person. It's a person. Right there, like a witch lady or something. Now, when we did this before, it had, they all looked like soups. Then when you took a closer look, it had an entire house with like other shit. And it was like supposed to look like vegetables. I'm like, what is happening? Like, how? Siamese cat bed. Yeah, I mean, because the thing is like my understanding of what this is doing is finding an image for a word. So like if you have an image already, I don't know what it would do. We can see. I don't know how I would even upload it though. I don't know if you can open images with Adobe actually. Like not with this Adobe, which is the PDFs. What? Okay. We are Siamese, if you please. Boom, boom, boom. We are Siamese, if you don't please. You guys know what that's from? Speaking of which, will it let me do tramp, or is it going to be like, that's a naughty word, naughty word? Oh my God. Let's see what happens if I try chloroform. Well, let me do chloroform. All right. Well, there you go. Oh, there was a really funny one. What was it? Let me see. We did Molly, you know, like, because we were trying to figure out a way to do drugs without it thinking it was drugs. I think this one was really funny. Help. Like, someone explain this to me. Why? I typed Molly, and this is the result. I mean, these two are definitely variations of like different types of like collies, you know? This looks like some sort of regal German Shepherd. And then this looks kind of like, oh, what is that breed called? It's like the Egyptian breed. I can't remember. Well, but you add a blue lion's mane to it. I'm trying to find the dog beneath it all. It could be a band name or something. That's kind of pretty, I guess. Molly. There you go, guys. That's what it is. That's what it looks like. Now you know. See, learn new things every day when you come watch the show here. Squirrel Crew. We're learning. We're squirreling. I searched for George. Are you saying I should search for Chelsea? Huh? Interesting choices here, I would say. Okay, I'll search for Chelsea. Let's see what it does. What's really funny though, Heather had me search for hippo, whatever the long ass name she has for her dog. Anyway, I typed it in and it literally verbatim generated an image that looked exactly like her dog. And so she actually put a picture in the Discord. She was like, oh my God, that looks just like my dog. And I was like, oh, I got one right. Pardon? How? Though. This looks in the bottom here. This looks like ancient Greece or some shit. Look, they're wearing togas. Like gladiator fights? Is this what we're looking at down here? The Colosseum? I don't know. I mean, it's just, okay, let's do Papa Roger. Twiz, we need some suggestions. Also, anyone else who's watching. Yeah, I know. If anyone can remember, I'm sure Twiz, you probably can, the exact full length name of her dog, so I can put it in exactly verbatim and you guys can see it, assuming it generates the same type of thing. It was crazy though. There's Papa Roger. What these look like to me, have you guys ever made homemade bread? What these look like, now I don't know why there's shit on top, but what these look like is when you make homemade bread and you're letting your dough, you're putting your dough in a place where it can rise. And there's a specific reason why I'm saying that. It's because of the shininess of the bowl, because you need to make sure that the bowl or the dish has been like, you know, oiled right with something. And then you've got like the oily, but then the bread, the dough as it rises will still like stick like literally that's what that looks like. I don't know what the fuck that is supposed to be here on the bottom right. And then this looks like a bowl of sugar, weirdly. Right, Pitbullpotamus, thank you, yeah. And there's a particular, I feel like there's a specific spelling, but we'll try it anyway and see. I mean, this shit is insane. You know, the way that she always has it, I think it's like her phone does it like auto, so she doesn't type it every time. Because this would be a hard one to spell the same every time. Pot. Let's just see if how that does. If Heather were here, she could get it correctly. Oh, I didn't spell potamus correctly. Thanks, Denise. These are not as spot on, but maybe it's because I didn't spell this the best way. I'm copying the way Denise has it. I don't know if that's how she spelled it. I feel like there's another O, there's an OUS at the end, but I could be wrong. As my mom would say, I was wrong once. Okay. These are not the same images it generated, but this is very similar. The ones that it generated, you see how it's all these wacky colors? When the ones it generated before were not wacky colors, even though like all of these other things have been wacky colors. They were like normal dog colors. It was really funny. So I wonder if it's like, if I add a letter O, is that going to like push it over? Twiz liked the one on the top right. It's fun picking the favorites. Interesting. So now it's given us a smattering of realistic plus colorful. Interesting, though, isn't it? Bastet? I don't know what that is. Is that a word I should type? Is that a real word or a fake word? Either way, what will happen? We don't know. There you go, Denise. You know, it's just like, I mean, you know, and now we have a completely different color palette. We're not in Arizona anymore. Is that a name in another language? I'm wondering for your cat. Okay, let's try this. Is it a U or an O, Denise? A U. Oh my God, I cannot type. Is it a U or an O for Ipsum? Let's see here. Oh, IPSA. I'm an idiot. IPSA with an A. You guys, this is why I do this, because you know the magic of it all. So, you know, the legal phrase, you know, the thing describes itself. The thing is what the thing is. Well, the question I have is, what things are these that we're like, and why is it one fish and three cats? It's just so special. It's just so special. Let's try proof. Help. Just help. Somebody help. Proof. Proof. I mean, what the fuck? What? I would love to, you know, I remember I said this last week. I was like, I wish we could ask it how it got there. Like, I wish we could ask the AI how. We can't. It's just one of those life's unanswered questions that we have, right? We will never know how it got here. Drippy fish. There's some things that we just will never know. I'm sorry, what? I typed bee fish. I don't And what's going on with this one? It's got some organs hanging out of it or something. I think that one needs some medical attention post haste. Like you need a little bit of help or a lot of bit of help, mister, over there. Like, what is going on with your organs, though? Oh my God. Okay, kind of. I don't know. The all white is an interesting choice, though, right? How does it come up with this shit? I mean, this looks like the abominable snow monster from the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer movie from being a kid. I freaking love that movie, though. Clarice is the shit. There's always tomorrow for dreams to come true. Well, we're making dreams happen right here, right now. So. We have a different type of style, like a Japanese. That looks like it's supposed to be Mount Fuji. No idea why. Can't guess that one. No, sure can't. Let's try Greenville. Wait, why am I blanking on it? Is there an E after green with an E? I can't fucking remember. No, there's not. I spelled it right. Okay, good. I didn't screw it up. Right. Okay. What if I do NYC? Oh my God, Heather's back. We did Pipplepotamus. We all didn't know how to spell it. And I was like, where's Heather? Literally, I told the story about the first time. You remember, Heather? It was just you, me, and Flash. We did this for hours, and we just died. We died and we died again, and it was the best thing. And like and I mentioned the Arizona escapes. Oh my God, amazing. Amazing. Okay, thank you. So I was right with the OUS. I win. I was right with the OUS. I did it right. No, Twiz did not. I told them that story. This is hilarious. I'm so glad you're here for this amazingness. Oh God, we are doing it again. We did George already. Oh, these are the exact same ones it gave us earlier in the same position because this dude in the top left, memorable. By the way, Twiz has made a motion to Nightbot to change his command to what did he say? Anything except for George, because there's a lot of bad things that he has associated with the name George. And I said, that's fair. We'll consider it. See, like if you do Arizona, like okay, fine. AI. What about Heather, do you remember how well it did with the Russian words? That was one of the funniest fucking things. It got everything else completely wrong except for your dog and words in Russian. Sorry, words in Russian that had to do with like the law specifically. No. Incorrect. But you know what's funny though is this owl up here in the top right looks so much like the owl with the knife that I always pull up because it's so fucking funny. What the fuck is this thing on the bottom right though? Like what? Amazing. You never know what you're going to get. Does it have self-awareness? I think we did the search before. I can't remember what it did. Am I typing? Okay. Michelle. 5-0 vibes, right? Yeah, for sure. It had 5-0 vibes. Remind me what the significance is of a 2019 Nissan Sentra. Okay, so this is what AI thinks it is. Good job. Oh, I also didn't fail to mention about the cleavage, Heather. I was like, that's crucial for people who are new to this journey. The cleavage thing is really important. Do you remember when I did the ladies with no arms? That was really funny too. There was so much. 5-0 vibes. Oh my God. The bird, but of course it's Arizona, right? The one exception was, the one that was the most surprising when we did Bigfoot and it was like, they were all white. It was like, what is happening? I mean, good job. I'm just dying. Oh my God. It's so good. It's so good. I forgot they thought, oh, right. It's center. Right. Yeah. Thank you, Heather. Let's try 5-0. It thinks it's a dirty word. What is wrong with you, AI? It thought Twiz was a dirty word also. Madagascar. You never know what you're gonna get with the AI game. It's so good. It's so good. I don't even know what to make of this. Literally don't even know. I don't think it really has a good, strong concept of what Madagascar is. That's what I think is. I think it's like, I don't know. Maybe there's a furry animal there. Oh my God. Oh my God. Temperature's dropping here. I have to say, at least here, it was like, okay, horseman could mean a bunch of things. It could mean a horse and a man, and maybe they forgot to push the space bar. That's like the first picture in the top left. Then it can also be a horseman, right? Like a person, right? Okay, bottom left, horseman. Or it could mean a centaur, right? Basically. And that's how you have those two on the right. But the one on the top right is very pretty. Yeah, Heather immediately is like top right. Yeah. The positioning of the arms is very confident and like, here I am with my muscles. You know what I mean? Wow. Tooth fairy. Weird. You guys, I was not joking about the cleavage. Now, there's one of these that doesn't have cleavage and it just looks fucking weird as fuck. But why? And it's not the first time it's done this where it puts the wings where the ears should go. It did this one time, I think when we looked up Jesus. We'll try it again and see what it does. And it's like, what's happening here? But like the children, I don't know. There's just, this is weird. Those are all very weird. Very, very weird. Let's see, Jesus. I mean, telling you guys. Oh, it did better this time than last time. It's improved. It's learned. It has learned since last time because it really did not do well with Jesus last time. Oh, you guys remember Santa? That was a good one. You guys remember how that rolled? Heather would be you guys in that situation. Who was there? Oh my God. Or no, I think it maybe was Prosecutor Santa specifically. We'll see what happens. Oh yeah, no, we need the creepy people. That was so fun last time. Let's see. Yeah, this is similar to now okay. And again with the cleavage, though, I say again with the cleavage. You guys have a favorite of these options? Oh my God. Wow. Also, like, what is with this outfit that she's got and like the name badge? Like, okay. What is TL? Oh, lawyer, Okay, I'm trying to see it. Now, what's funny is look at though. He's got like judge's robes on, right? But then he's got like a police badge. So clearly there's still confusion for the AI, although I don't, yeah. Oh my God. Let's try this. I have an idea. Wendy. Is it going to show a picture of Fievel? That'd be amazing. Can we train it? You know, it's supposed to learn. Can we train it to do Fievel by connecting them a lot? Like, why? Well, and they're all facing the same direction except for one. Wait, why does this bird also have like wings, like not bird wings, but moth butterfly wings? That's interesting. I mean, we need to correct this for AI right now. Hey AI, that's Wendy, that's Fievel. That's it. Yes, Heather, yes. Denise, I beat you to it. Haha. Just kidding. Just kidding. Literally just kidding. Yeah, you're not wrong though about the color scheme, right? The navy blue and the red. Huh, maybe it is learning after all. Maybe it is learning after all. Good job. Well, you guys, so tomorrow, yeah, I still don't know who Viv is. If you guys talk to her a lot. So tomorrow we have the trial resuming. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it live. We don't know what's going to happen. Dude, I was thinking about this too, since the first live. We've had 3 live streams today. I was thinking about this between the second and the third live stream as I was getting ready for my lessons. And I was like, I wonder if part of what's going on is it's like they're playing like a game of chicken, right? Because I wonder if the prosecution, by like not closing up all these loops and leaving so many things unanswered, like we talked about, and like leaving the jury in a state of confusion, I wonder if they're trying to like bait the defense into trying to answer some of these questions. Because I thought it was a really great point about if the defense doesn't put on a case, then the prosecution can't put on a rebuttal case. And I wonder if that's part of the strategy here, right? Like the opening statements were 7 minutes long for the state. And then the defense is like, well, we can do even better than that. We're not even going to do one. I don't know. It's just funny. And then the state's case was so quick and just like skipped over. But, anyway, I don't know. And then, you know, again, the people know say that if the defense puts on a case, they think that Zachary will take the stand. It's just anything can literally happen tomorrow. I just don't even know. I'm so fucking excited. I don't think I'll be able to sleep. But I'm going to try to cover it live. And what I'll probably do is I'll probably start it. Now, don't go reading ahead now, guys, right? I'll probably start it. Well, I don't know what time court is supposed to start. I'll probably start it a little bit like later than what it normally starts at. So that way, when they get to those long breaks, we can just skip through them. But I don't know what time court starts, and who knows, they might get there and then and there's also a 30-minute delay too for the feed. So, but that's going to be the plan, because like literally we don't even know what's going to happen. It's going to be incredible. And so that will be the goal for tomorrow. And I mean, Karen Reed also has a hearing tomorrow. For me right now, though, sorry, my priority is this case with, you know, you guys, like, this has been insane. We brought up a lot of really good points though, I think, today. And so I'm like super fucking like, I really want to, there's so much that needs to be done on this case to really figure it the fuck out. It's like even more of a enigma than all the other cases that we used to think were enigmas. Like, nope. This one wins. I mean, there's so many layers. Like, we've just added more and more and more, and it's like, holy fuck. And so anyway, so that's what we will be doing tomorrow. And see what happens and play it by ear. Who knows what we're in store for? Who literally knows and so we'll just try to play it by ear. But yeah, but that will be the plan. So I'll start it a little bit later, and then we can kind of zoom through. And again, like, if the defense comes in and says, you know, the state didn't prove their case, and we are, you know, we're going to rest now, then there's no rebuttal. And then it's on to closing arguments. And are they going to try to outdo each other by no one saying a goddamn word for closing arguments? I don't know. But regardless, there's a possibility that it could go to the jury tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's just insane. Or the defense could have even the people from Fitz News who are in the know, they don't even know what to expect. Like, in other words, you know how normally we're privy to, like, oh, there's all these experts, and like, they don't know any of that. I don't know how. I guess they just don't even know what the defense is going to do. Like, they could put on, like they even said, they could put on like a whole entire fucking case that outdoes the, like, it's so crazy, right? We have no idea what to expect, which is really unusual, to have like literally no idea. So it could be anything. And I will fall over if Zach Hughes takes a stand. I never in a million years, it never even crossed my mind. Weirdness. So. Twiz, thank you. Yes. George steps in and says he did it. Yes. How amazing, dude. Yes. That would be the grand finale. And then it would be like, oh, now it all makes sense. Somebody make it make sense. George did it. George did it. Yep. Got a 5-0 face. 5-0 face. 5-0 face. Oh my God. Delirious over trying to figure this shit out.
My friend Elizabeth is a mortician. She's the prettiest mortician I've ever met.
You guys. Andy's friend, the fucking mortician. What is happening? Oh, I meant to play this clip for you guys, and I forgot I had it. So whenever you guys have been, we've been talking about Casey Anthony, speaking of George, and what was the state's theory of motive. And I said that there was even a really funny time where, like, they all make fun of them. This is early in the trial. I have a clip for this. So let's watch this. It's not long, but this is really funny because even Judge Belvin, like, totally makes fun of them. And this is really funny.
Mr. Lazario, I'm coming over. Miss Anthony, are you? Yeah. Mr. Lazario, after lab, yeah. Miss Anthony, how fuck? Mr. Lazario, to say hello. And the next one, Miss Anthony, on a few more days, and you can bring your ass over here anytime you want and stay whenever you want. Mr. Lazario, well, I'm coming over tonight. Miss Anthony, you are trouble. You know that. Yep. That's the portion you're talking about?
He's like, why?
Your Honor, the state wants to.
Y'all. His face says it all right there. That face, I'm going to take a screenshot. That is a priceless. He's like, you got to be fucking kidding me. You guys think that this can come in? How can this come in? Like, what the heck? Oh my God. This is so funny. I mean, yeah.
Introduce or would seek to introduce 10:38:27 p.m. through the defendant's response at 10:39:42. It establishes the fact that Mr. Rosario would like to come over. It establishes Ms. Anthony's putting him off, saying he can't, and it helps establish the fact that the reason that she can't do what she would like to do and can't have him come over whenever he wants to come over is because the child and her parents are in the way. That's why it's relevant.
Does the defense concur with that analogy?
My God. I'm going to leave my
Absolutely not, Judge.
Oh, man.
And that's the basis that you want to have that admitted.
Certainly, a jury, that's the conclusion that they can come up, that they can end with.
Okay. And what does that tend to prove or disprove?
We learned, in essence, one of the motive for the murder.
I take it Miss Anthony is living at home at that time, Mr. George?
Yes.
And you're saying just because she's living at home with her parents and because she's told no, that's a motive for murder?
I'm sorry, sir. I missed that last part.
You're saying that because she's living at home and with her daughter in her parents' home, and because she says no, that's a motive for murder?
No, Your Honor. As the evidence, as some of the testimony has already been established from Mr. Lazaro, when they first started to date, the defendant had Kaylee with her.
Oh, boy.
The defendant was unable to do what she wanted to do, to stay where she wanted to stay, because she had to bring Kaylee back home. As the weeks went on, culminating up to June 16th, what this helps represent and show was that she was locked in that home. She was locked, or at least held back, by her daughter. She couldn't do what she wanted to do, which is further evidenced by everything that she did do and everything that she wanted to do from June 16th until July 15th.
Wow.
That is why it's relevant, and it does help establish the motive. Because after June 16th, she didn't have to worry about her parents. She didn't have to worry about her daughter.
The next logical question is, why didn't she kill her parents?
Right?
Since everybody was in the way, but you don't need to answer that. Section 90.403 of the Florida Evidence Code, exclusion on grounds of prejudice or confusion. The court will make the following ruling: 1,
Not coming in.
that is not relevant or material to any of the issues to be proved.
Definitely not.
And even if it was relevant and material, it is outweighed by the prejudice that it would cause in this. So that portion will not come in along with the rest of the portions.
Amazing, right? Isn't it so good? It's so good. It's so good. The way he says the next logical conclusion, and then he's like, and then he like stops himself and he's like, no, there's not even any need to try to fillet you like this. Like, you've already done it to yourself. Like, you're like, oh my God. It's like, he's like, it's too painful. I can't even make you try to say it out loud. It just is so good. It's so good. Elimination murder, familicide. It's so good. It's so good. Oh my God. I freaking love it. I love it so much. This one is from closing arguments in the Ezra McCandless trial. And this is her defense attorney who started to lose his mind throughout the end of this trial. And literally, I was like, during closing arguments, he went on for like 4 hours, and it was unhinged. And I was like, are we watching someone literally lose their mind in front of us? So this little clip is him saying bloodshed and like smiling creepily.
Bloodshed.
All right. It's fucking hilarious, dude.
Bloodshed.
Smiling at the jury. I can't do it. It's too much. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. And then I made this also for closing arguments, because one of the things that Mr. Nelson, that attorney I just showed you guys, does is he says he does. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. He says there was a knife fight like a bazillion times. In fact, we ended up counting it because it was so absurd. And I started joking about like the scene from Boondock Saints about the firefight. And so I made this literally, and I played this every time he said it. And it was like 50 bazillion times.
There was a firefight!
Oh, there's another really good one. I don't know if I still have it on here. Anyway, I've got so many funny little fucking things. Mr. Ashton's schizophrenia.
You were asked about Dr. Voss. And,
oh my God.
You were asked about
oh my God.
Air samples. Have you ever heard of any case where air samples were used in a forensic setting?
Objection. Relevant expertise.
And that was the schizophrenic part 1. And then he had a schizophrenic moment part 2 recently. And I was like, oh my God, he's doing it again. And he did it like a bunch of times in that episode. And I was like, wow, that is amazing. Incredible. Of course, who doesn't know Boondock Saints? Everyone knows Boondock Saints. Honestly, the only thing is that it's almost too like popular. I mean, it's a great movie. You know. Let me see if I've still got that clip of the let me see if I have it. Because it's really funny. I hope I didn't delete it. Please tell me I didn't delete it. Oh no. Let me see. I think I have it. Okay. So what this is, if I can do it, let's see if this is the right thing. What this is, so in the Ezra trial, there was this decrepit gate, and then there was this like path out in the middle of nowhere where the car was, where she stabbed the victim, like, I don't remember, a lot of times. And like, it's really creepy and desolate. And like the state's, the defense's theory was like they were going out there to have sex. And so I made a funny parody where it shows the scenes and how creepy, and it's like really fucking creepy. And anyway, and then it pairs it with like the bum chicka bum bum, and it's really fucking funny. So let me see if I can do this way. I don't know what the translucent thing is. Somebody's gonna have to explain it, because you guys say that all the time. I have no fucking clue what it is. Oh, there's my video of my dog Frodo opening his presents at Christmas. That was so cute. It's called Piglet Christmas. He loves it when you wrap it up in wrapping paper and then he opens it. It's so cute. Okay, let's see here. The amount of time, I'll need to take 5 down. The amount of time that I spent making this was so well spent. I loved it. I loved every second of it. I'm like, here we go. Okay. This is the actual footage of the crime scene. Oh, I forgot. It's even funnier than I remembered. That is amazing. Yep. That's fucking funny. That's fucking funny. Oh my God. Here we go. What do you guys think? And a YouTube account that uses AI avatar. I don't know what AI avatar is. And why would it mean that I became that thing? I'm so confused. Who needs to put some clothes on? Oh, Heather doesn't know. Who needs to? I'm so confused, people. What are you doing tomorrow? The image for what account? I don't know what you're talking about. With what, though? With 5. I'm so confused, people. That's okay though. I'm used to it. And there's Ezra's hybrid animal. Shark weasel. There's Alex Murdoch. Good old Wally Bird. Good old what's her fucking face? Stupid ass. Sorry, that was rude. Anyway, I'm only allowed to talk like that to Wendy. Just, you know, note to self. Yeah. She earned it. I can't tell what that emoji is. Is that a middle finger? I don't know what that is. I have no idea. For knowing, I mean, I thought everyone knew that movie. Jennings is allowed. What are you getting up early for, Twiz? To quote Michael Scott, the early worm gets the worm. Love it. Oh, okay. Oh, I see what you're saying, Heather. I see what you're saying. Gotcha. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So yeah, so tomorrow, big day though, because court, and we don't know what will happen. Yeah, it's hard on StreamYard, guys. I don't know if it looks when I pull it up on the screen, I don't know if it looks like the way it looks like when I see it. But StreamYard does the emojis different, as y'all are probably know. And that I can't tell like what that's doing. It's easy to see when it's not StreamYard. Oh, that's why you're getting up early. You're getting early for the no watching ahead, you guys. I said I was going to start it a little bit late so that we can zoom through the breaks. Do you guys want me to start it in real court time? And then we just, but then when they do like a lunch break and stuff, that's going to be like, you know. Oh. I don't know. I don't even know what time court is starting. I was going to look that up. But like, if you want to be able to zoom through the lunch break too, and like skip all the breaks, then you want to start it a good deal ahead, right? But if you want to split it into 2 streams and do like a break for lunch, and then just skip through like the mid-morning break or any other issues that might arise during part 1, then, you know, you can usually start at like 30 minutes late from when court starts. Assuming that, remember, the only other issue too is like there's so much that they don't leave on camera. Like if they just left the cameras rolling for so much of it, then there would be no reason. It'd be like, okay. But like, you know, because they don't argue with the cameras on, which sucks. And also there's the 30-minute delay. That's the other thing I have to factor. There's a 30-minute delay from when the things happen to when they can put it out into the world. So, I know not. Let me see. Let's see if I can find it out. And also Karen Reed has a hearing tomorrow, but I do not care at the present moment. No offense to Karen Reed. I want to watch this other trial, for good reasons, obviously. It says, so Long Crime has it slated to start at 9:30. What does that mean? It means that they're turning their cameras on at 9:30 and, you know, it's going to sit there for however long. Now, I don't know if that factors in the delay or if it doesn't factor in the delay. Let me see if I can just find a more specific answer to this. You guys are, I love that you guys are into it. Isn't it? I'm so glad I decided to, I mean, literally, it was like, I was like, oh my God, this trial's been happening. I didn't know about it. 30 minutes later, stream, you know, like, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth it. So what time does, I'll just read aloud as I do a search here. Zachary Hughes trial start. By the way, has anyone done the world old today? Because I got it in one guess. Proud of myself. Yeah, see, Google isn't helpful sometimes. Greenville County Courthouse court hours. That was a voice to text search. So it's looking like 8:30, but like that means the courthouse is open. I don't know. I think that they probably plan on starting at 9, and maybe the 9:30 that Law and Crime has is including the 30-minute delay. But they usually all start this shit late, right? So I don't know. So 9:30 is what Law and Crime says. So if we want to split it into two, and it just depends. We don't know what to expect at all tomorrow. But if we want to split it into 2 streams throughout the day and take like the break for lunch, then I would start it. I don't know. I'd almost rather start later and then be able to do it all in one stream and be able to just zoom through everything. I don't know. What do you guys think? Right. That's cute. Like if I were to say account for the lunch break and all that shit, I would probably start at like noon or so. And then we could skip through all the breaks, which probably I would prefer because then I don't have to make a separate stream. Zoom through. Okay. We got one vote for zoom through. Anyone else want to make your voices heard, people? And depending on what goes on, right? If there's a bunch of issues and they're off camera for a extra long time, like then I might push it back a little bit later. But like that's like an estimate. Like assuming they do like their normal number of like breaks for shit, I think that would allow us to zoom through the lunch and zoom through the other breaks. I would think. Okay, Zoom, cool. Okay, well then that's what we'll do. I can actually, through the magic of technology, I've got the stream already set up. I'll go ahead and release it to the world now then. Let's see here. No watching ahead now, guys. We're all in this together here on this one. That's for sure. Okay, it should be there visible for y'all. No one ever answered my question. Have any of you guys ever made homemade bread? I still need to cover all those carried motions. God damn it. There's so fucking many of them. It's all good though. Isn't it the best though? Freaking love it. Yep. Oh yeah, for real. We're a democracy here. Y'all know how I roll. Denise, are you available? Sourdough. Okay, cool. I have a blueberry oatmeal recipe that is so. Do they still say bomb? So fire? I don't know what the lingo is anymore. Kids these days, you know what I mean? It's so good though. It's this blueberry oatmeal bread, and it only has like a handful of ingredients, but it's like really labor intense. Although homemade bread tends to be, sourdough tends to be the least, labor intensive from my experience. That's fucking hilarious though. When you catch them up to no good. Yeah, I think that's a lot of dogs do that. Frodo's the same way though. The frozen shock phase, for sure. Good night, Denise. And I'm probably going to wrap it up here anyway. I'm so freaking behind on timestamps, guys. It's like, I don't even know. I'm like, okay, I need to clone myself or get like 5 assistants, but I would never trust them to do timestamps the way that I do them. So it's a problem. Anyway, don't make me right. I know. So you guys, we will be back at it tomorrow though. I'll try to, of course, post in the Discord if there's something crazy and that it's going to drastically change the time, but I'm going to try to be there and then be able to go through. We'll be able to go through all of it. We don't know what it'll be. We'll see. We'll learn together. It'll be amazing. So Twiz wants to know what Pitbull eponymous. Look at love how the condensed version of the spelling. That's pretty cool. Love it. Efficiency. Let's get this 5 out of here. And there she is again, Wendy on the screen. So funny. Oh, he wants the mac and cheese. How funny. Plotting his future crimes. But y'all are awesome. I love you guys. We'll be back here soon. Be back for more. And it'll be a crazy day. And y'all are the best. And I'll see you guys soon. Scroll out.